we have microphone? Alright, we have a microphone and we have a chat screen. Okay. Alright. I think I'll leave the red light off. The Sinclair looks better in green. Kathy beat Ron in by a split second. That was like horse racing. Kathy got in by a nose. Oh, Jesus. Again? He just moved that truck about 5 minutes ago. Thank you. Are you parked now? Jesus. About 5 minutes before starting time, he made it. Well, all right, tablet, come on. Don't give me a hard time. Jeez. Jesus. Oh, man. Broadcasting live from station WDWL TV Studio 1. Our corporate offices are located on Grumpy Vulture Boulevard, and my private studios are on Grumpy Old Man Road. And for you first-timers, I'm the Grumpy Old Man, and introducing the Grumpy Jackalope. Oh, and the Grumpy Vulture. Take your bow. Jesus. You pain in the ass. Come on. Get your banner straight. So, a miracle happened today. I couldn't believe it. I could not believe it. First of all, I was getting ready to chuck that radio and order an aftermarket flip screen, fancy touch screen. Jeez. When I walked out to the car, I walked into a spider web, and it feels like it's still on me. So, I just happened, when I unplugged it, there was a fuse on the back of the radio. Now, there's a radio fuse in the fuse panel. So I looked at the fuse, and the fuse was blown. I popped it out and popped in another fuse, and I said, for the hell of it, let me plug it in. So I plugged all the connections in, And next thing you know, the little security light starts blinking on the front of the radio. I was like, oh, this is interesting. I hit the on button and it says, enter security code. Now, I looked all over the place for the security. I called Volkswagen. They told me the car was too old. So I'm looking, and there's a label on top of the radio. And it says, first of all, US version. Then it gives the part number of the radio, the serial number of the radio, and a bunch of bullshit copyright crap. In the same print, going vertical, was 1500. I said, no, it can't be this easy. It can't be this easy. So I turned the radio off. I turned it back on and it says, enter security code. So I put 1500. Next thing, music. Our local station, 105.7. I was like, oh, my luck can't. There is no way. So I shut the radio off. Turn the radio on. Music. I was like, oh, I'm going to test the CD or the cassette tape player. I come in the house. I get my cassettes. I pop in a cassette. Voila! The cassette is working. So I was like, okay, we got AM, we got FM, we got cassette. I hit CD player. Nothing. So I go back and I open the trunk and I slid the little door and I pushed the button and the magazine popped out. And the magazine is fucking broken. You can't put any CDs into the magazine. I was like, okay, that's part of my luck. So I was like, wait a minute. I have a converter for the radio. It looks like a cassette player, but it has a wire on it that plugs in to an external, like you could plug it into your cell phone. You know, you could hit Spotify, your playlist, and plug it into your cell phone. So I come in the house, and something I have had forever, a portable CD player that was still in the package. Now, I ordered this thing like in the late 70s. I ordered two of them. One I used, I ended up breaking, and this one was still in the package until today. I go out to the car with a CD. I plug the adapter, and I'm playing a CD. Unbelievable. Now, I called Volkswagen to find out how much a new magazine, because it's a 6-disc magazine. $132. I said, I don't want the CD player. I just want the magazine. $132. And thank you. See ya. So I went on eBay. The cheapest magazine is $48. Do I need a 6-disc magazine for the CD player in the trunk? Or, for free, can I use this instead? And hopefully find a cheaper magazine later on. I will be using this. That number was just, and it's printed in the same print. I was like, no, this can't be the magic code to unlock the radio. Sure enough, it was. The guy at Volkswagen lied. Because I asked him, could it possibly be on the radio? No. It's either in a business card or he told me possibly inside where the first aid kit goes. Well, we already know that. Mainly because Kathy told me, check the glove box, collect the trunk. It's nowhere to be found. It was on the fucking radio. And I kept turning the radio on and off because figuring, it's going to go in the lock mode. Nope. I was out there playing CDs, playing cassettes. Marianne come over and she goes, hey, can you turn that thing down? I was like, is it that loud? Oh, I heard it all the way in the house. I guess it was that loud. Man, does that thing have a dynamite sound system. Holy crap. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. So, it don't run yet, but we have music. And with this adapter, if I wanted to make a Spotify playlist or, I don't know, there's so many of those, iHeartRadio, I don't need it. I've got 250 cassettes and over 300 CDs. I don't need no playlist on my cell phone. My luck doesn't run like this. I just hope when I put the fuel pump in, my luck runs like this. Turn the key and voila, we're running again. So, I have my decals for the door. These are going on both front doors. And today, I ordered 2 more because what will be going underneath will be on YouTube at 7 p.m. So that way, people won't get confused thinking I'm a real TV station. So things are falling into place. Fingers crossed that when the fuel pump gets here, I'll be able to take it for a ride around the block. But my buddy's son I can't remember what kind of car he's got, or SUV. He's got a Bang & Olufsen stereo system. I never even heard of Bang & Olufsen, but that's what he's got. Now, I can't remember what my buddy's got in his Lincoln Aviator. I don't know if it's a Bose system or... All these manufacturers, they each have their own... You know, one's got Bose, one's got Bang & Olufsen, one's got... I doubt if anybody's got Pioneer, but... I have Volkswagen. And none of the speakers say Bose or anything like that. No, they're just generic. But outstanding generic. Because there's a woofer and a mid-range at the bottom of the door and then a tweeter at the top of the door. All four doors have speakers. I don't think there's any in the back deck, but I'm going to put some there. Because now that I got music, I'm going to blast to my music. I couldn't believe when I hit 1, 5, 0, and as soon as I hit the last 0, music. Unreal. So, that made my day. Although, I really liked that aftermarket radio that I was looking at. With the Hideaway touchscreen. Although I could go back and forth. That radio isn't that expensive. I kind of like the idea that the fancy touchscreen. Because the radio had a built-in, like I need a GPS to get, to the corner store. Although I have I've got a Magellan GPS from 2009. And every time I get in the truck, I turn it on. And one day Marianne says, "Why do you need a GPS?" I said, "I don't." But when you go to settings, you can have a car, or you could have an SUV, or you could have a monster truck. And as you're going down the street, the monster truck is going down the street on the screen. I just like watching the monster truck on the little GPS unit. I think it's cool. That's the only reason I turn it on, so I can watch the little monster truck drive along with me. No, I'll tell you, Ron, because if I play the lottery, I would start being like every other goddamn senior citizen. I think I missed something in the senior citizen handbook that says when you reach a certain age, you must play the lottery every single day. Because every time I go up to my little Indian store, that's all there are, fucking senior citizens with 5,000 lottery tickets in their hand. And if like, I go to Mark's. Now, you can play the regular lotto or the scratch offs. And then they have different scratch offs in a vending machine. The other day, the woman in front of me had about 9 freaking lottery number tickets. Then she's standing there at the scratch offs going, okay, I want a 1, a 7, a 32, and a 48. And then she goes over to the machine and she buys lottery tickets out of the vending machine. I was like, Jesus Christ. Don't you have enough goddamn lottery tickets already? I should have had the good luck when they had the billion, what was it, $1.7 billion Powerball? 2 people split that. 1.7 billion and 2 people split it. The second one has yet to come forward. Remaining anonymous. That would be me. I would remain anonymous. If I hit, I would call an Uber to take me downtown to the lottery office. And then I would take it in a lump. Because, like with Publishers Clearinghouse, all them people got screwed. That way, you get it in a lump. They take all the taxes out of it. I would call me a financial advisor and immediately sit down. Ohio, no, you can sign the anonymous form, so that you're not made public. Because I guarantee if my name went out there, Jesus Christ, there'd be a line down the street of people begging. Although I think the giveaway would be when I had a Rolls Royce Cullinan in the driveway. I could see Rob across the street going, oh, you finally broke down and bought a new car? Oh, and it's an SUV? Yeah, bought me an SUV. Bought me a reliable one. I won't have to worry about it breaking down. Oh, what'd you buy? A Rolls. Right there, he'd have a heart attack. Then when he come to, I'd say, and I still want you to cut my lawn. And I ain't paying you. Yeah, I could get a Lucid, but I'd have to buy like a 500-mile extension cord. And I'm not into it. It was a gorgeous car. I'll give them that. If it had a gas engine, I would buy it. Although, there could be a possibility someone could sway me to buy a Rivian pickup. Just saying. I might go and get that powder blue Rivian pickup. Use it for my backup vehicle. I'd have to spend $3 or $4 grand to get the supercharger hooked up to my house. Oh yeah, a Rivian in light blue. Yeah, you got it, Ron. Matter of fact, next time I go to Metro Parma, on the way back, I'm taking my 35mm digital DSLR camera, and I'm going to take a bunch of pictures of all the Rivians, and hopefully they still have one of them powder blue pickups sitting there. Oh, Ron, I would, but nobody would get the joke today. It would only be old farts like me. You know, yes, would you like some Grey Poupon? Oh, I'd have a jar. Believe me, there'd be a jar in that car. But kids nowadays wouldn't get the joke. I go, look, I have Grey Poupon. They go, you're an asshole anyway, so what? You're an asshole with a jar of Grey Poupon mustard in your car. I always liked that commercial. Guy sitting in the back end of his frickin' Rolls Royce eating filet mignon. Another Rolls Royce pulls up, window. I say, you have any Grey Poupon? But of course. Okay, question. Who watches The View? Now, I do rarely. If they're having a special guest on that I want to see. Oh, there's a kid in the neighborhood that's got a Honda and he's got a wrap on it. And it's like a hologram. The sun hits it and it's all different colors, and if the sun hits it a certain way, it fucking blinds you. Yeah, he's got a holographic wrap. Well, I happened to come across an article today. Do you know what they make? Take a guess at what they make a year. Now, Whoopi and Joy Behar, or whatever her name is, they make a little more. Take a wild guess. Close, Ron. Whoopi Goldberg makes $8 million a year because she's the big cheese. Then Joy makes $7 million a year, and the others make somewhere around 5.5 $8 million a year. I remember back in the day when Kathy Griffin was offered what they call a chair. She was offered a full-time chair, and they offered her, now we're talking way back in the day, 1.5. And Kathy said, no, I want 2. And they said, we can't give you 2 because you can't get paid more than the host, who happened to be Baba Wawa. So she said, no, thank you. Baba Wawa would be rolling over in her grave to hear that Whoopi makes $8 million and Joy makes 7, and the other 3 make around 5.5. Can you imagine what a commercial costs an advertiser? Because that's where the stations make their money, off the advertisers. Because they're not federally subsidized. I don't know how any of these corporations can afford to advertise across multiple networks. Because I would say a commercial probably got to be $1 million a minute, or for 30 seconds. They don't run, very rarely do you see a full minute commercial. You'll see like 3 30-second commercials in a row. Two people, $15 million. And that's not counting staff. Well, happy birthday to Jackson, wherever you are. Kind of sad that you don't know where he's at. I take it he don't send you a Father's Day card, huh? Maybe he's watching. Happy birthday to you, Jackson. kind of sad that you don't stay in touch. How long has it been, Ron? Not to rub salt in an open wound, but when's the last time you actually had communication? You could always Google him. I find out where a lot of people live by Googling them. Well, that's sad, Ron. This is a time in your life where you could use some family. I think that's a wound that you guys should, like, patch up. Goddamn little tiny flies. Well, that's sad. Well, if he lived with you, he knows how to get in touch with you. I guess he doesn't want to, which is sad. Because he'll regret it when you're not around. Oh, gee. I should have patched things up. Don't do any good talking to a headstone that don't answer back. Well, maybe one day he'll come to his senses. These Gen Xers or Gen Zers, you can't reason with them. Hell, I got one, lives upstairs, don't even talk to me. Well, mine too, Ron. Mine was diagnosed at age 5. I mean, he sits there and says, I don't need medicine. Got the attention span of a fly. Gee, Gen Z or Gen X or it seems like all of these kids in their 40s have lost their minds. They're all from that, what is it, Gen X, Gen Z? I think Gen X. They're all well, Kathy, she's got an excuse. Not saying it's right. I know a couple that are in the same boat. My buddy's daughter, she did. Now, she did 3 tours. It was 2 in Iraq. And I think Afghanistan. I know she went in during what they called the surge. All I know is she did 3 tours. And I even asked my buddy, I said, did you do a DNA test? Because yeah, it seems like some that came back from over there just yeah, every now and then he hears from her, or I should say her mother hears from her. But they have no idea where she is. She's like floats around the country now. She came back and she bought whatever the smallest frickin' motorhome she could buy. She went to that goddamn dealer down. There's one in mid-Ohio, the largest RV dealer in Ohio. She bought a small RV. One day packed all her shit and went, see ya. You have no idea where in the United States she is. Every now and she'll call her mother just to say, I'm still alive. Have a nice day. And she's another one refuses to take medication and refuses to see a shrink. But yeah, there's a lot of them that, well, look at Josh, he come back all screwed up, although he's doing all right now. And Ned and Jeff, although, the shit that Jeff went through, Nothing like having half your face blown off. There's somebody I give a lot of credit to, man. That's almost as bad as the vets that came back from Vietnam. Like my buddy. The guy come back, started a auto detailing business, and he was detailing for what the hell, Marshall Goldman Motors. And Marshall Goldman sells Ferraris and Lamborghinis, and he was detailing for him. And oh God, what was the dealer over on the east side that they were a regular car dealer, but they sold Rolls Royces too? They were over like on Chagrin or somewhere over in that area. Was like a Buick dealer that sold Rolls Royces too. Needless to say, he was, and the business was booming. He had a girlfriend that looked like a fucking New York model. Holy shit. Had a brand new Corvette. Had the world by the ass. And every Friday night, he'd take his crew to the bar. And they were drinking, having a good time. And he said, I'll be right back. I have to get something out of my car. And everybody was... He said, where's Steve? He was going to get something out of his car. They went out in the parking lot, and Steve gave himself a dirt nap. Because when he come back from Vietnam, he was screwed up. But you wouldn't, you know, well, you're not with somebody 24/7. And any time I'd ever seen Steve, he was always like on top of the world. And he never talked about the Southeast vacation. And we found out at the funeral from one of the inside people in the VA it was their last day. They were coming home. His tour was done, and the helicopter picked them up. He was a door gunner on a helicopter. The helicopter went in and picked a bunch of guys up that were also shipping out, coming back home. And as the helicopter started to take off, there were a bunch of kids running up to the helicopter. Take us with you. Take us with you. You know, saying it in Vietnamese. And there was one, he said he thought maybe she could have been a teenager. And just as they were lifting off, she pulled a grenade out of her shirt and popped the pin and got ready to throw it. And he gunned her down. And of course, the grenade went off and fucked up the rest of the kids that were in the group. And that screwed him up something fierce. Because this insider at the VA said that he'd wake up out of a dream, and the dream kept playing over every night, over. And then he couldn't take it anymore, I guess. They found him, by the time they found him, it was too late. And you know, there's so many that come back that just won't talk about what went on. You noticed that too, Ron? I thought it was just me. It's like he can't focus on one thing. You know, my father was in the big WDWL. He was over in France. And he never, all the years up until he passed, never talked about his military time. Even when he'd go up to the VFW, all the guys would be talking about what they did. My father never. Well, when we went to the VA to get his paperwork so that he would get his free grave and headstone, and we found out that what his job was, he was in what they called graves registration. And he was literally, you had to identify and then bury. And imagine doing that for a year, year and a half, I can't remember how long, before he got shipped somewhere else. But that's what he did every single day. And some guys, they had to dig up and then rebury. And then I kind of understood why he wouldn't talk about his service time. And then in a way I kind of understood why he beat the fuck out of me all the time. Which was no excuse, but it was also a different time. PTSD wasn't coined yet. I can't remember what the term was. Some guys, they call them shell-shocked. Although he never went to a shrink either. He went to a bottle. Ended up drinking himself to death. I think in my later teen years, my mother kind of tapered off. Although every now and then, I'd find a wine bottle somewhere. Oh, Ron, my sister thinks she hasn't found the scrapbooks yet. She thinks her wrestling name was Jean Miller, but we're not positive, and I haven't bothered to Google it. That wasn't her real name, but that was supposedly her wrestling name from what my sister thinks. She's still trying to find the scrapbooks. Oh, my fuel pump relay arrived today from Chicago. Yeah, went from Newark or Bordentown to Chicago, Chicago to Toledo, Toledo to Cleveland, Cleveland to me. My fuel pump relay got frequent flyer miles, which is stupid. We have a FedEx terminal right here, well, in Richfield. We have an airport. The plane flies right over us. Goes to Chicago. The one you found wasn't my mother. My mother didn't look that good. Believe me. My mother was the type of kid where, in order to get the dog to play with her, her father had to tie a pork chop around her neck. I think my father was drunk when he met her. Maybe that's why he stayed drunk all the time. Oh, God, I married this. Believe me, she wouldn't have got picked for one of the stage girls on Price is Right. We'll just say that. Boy, I saw a picture of Drew Carey the other day. Holy shit, did he lose weight? I haven't paid attention to The Price is Right in years. There was an article that they have a new game. And there's a picture of him standing on stage. I'm like, who the hell's that? He like lost half of himself. Actually, he don't look good. He lost too much weight. But he said he was sick of looking at his fat self on TV. And he dyes his hair blonde. Jesus. Although, what the hell was his name? I just went blank. Who the hell did The Price is Right for Bob Barker? Bob Barker dyed his hair up until a year before he retired. And then he let it get gray. Drew Carey's doing the same thing. He's dyeing his hair blonde. Yeah, he don't look good. The article said, he said, oh, it's the best he's felt since he was, a teenager, but he lost too much weight. I could see losing some, but now he looks anorexic. I guess that goes back to all the years I watched him when he was a comedian. He was always... Oh, yeah, Dick Clark. You ever see pictures of him shortly before he died? Yeah, the vanity. Bob Barker did it because he had all them young tenderonis all the time. He didn't want to look like their grandfather. Because it was a real shock that last year. He's like, who's that? Is his father hosting the show? Although he really looked old with the gray hair. Well, he looked his age. And I can't watch Wheel of Fortune because I hate Ryan Seacrest, the suck ass. It's nice to see he finally wiped all the shit off of his nose because he had his nose up everybody's ass in order to get that job. And same thing with Jeopardy. Can't watch that anymore. They ruined my late night shows. Not that I watched them a lot, but I used to like it when I went blank again. What's her name was hosting Jeopardy? What the hell's her name? She was Blossom. Miss Nuclear Physicist. She's got like a PhD in microbiology or something. At least she has something to fall back on. She teaches college now, but I liked when Mayim Bialik was hosting Jeopardy. Nothing like having a real brain host the show. That Ken Jennings, ugh. He's got the personality of a dead fish. Matter of fact, a dead fish has got more personality than Ken Jennings. Although they were saying Price is Right is in like what, its 47th or 48th year? Hard to believe that show'd been running that long. I remember the shows from my childhood. Queen for a Day. Oh, what a hokey program that was. She'd be sitting there with a crown. Myrtle, do you recognize this voice? Hi, Myrtle. It's your old neighbor from the shitty neighborhood you grew up in, Eleanor. Eleanor'd come out and they'd hug and cry. Okay, Myrtle, do you recognize this voice? Hello, Myrtle, how are ya? No. It's George, your milkman. What a hokey program that was. Holy shit. Queen for a Day. And they used to give some real crappy prizes, too. Didn't you know Mayim Bialik was Blossom? That's how she got her TV start. Although I always thought her pal, that Six, of all names to call a girl, Six. I thought she was a little cuter. But what do I know? Pedophile looking at... Oh, yeah, I got them confused. Yeah, This Is Your Life. Yeah. Well, they were both hokey programs. This Is Your Life and Queen for a Day, they were both hokey. Yeah, This Is Your Life. Yeah. Do you recognize that voice? No. It's Harvey, your garbage man. They never had any real interesting people. You know, the milkman, the garbage man, your next door neighbor you hardly talk to. I used to like the afternoon show. Oh, God. The one that Kitty Carlisle was on all the time. Was that You Bet Your Life? Was that the name of it? Steve Allen was on, Kitty Carlisle. I can't remember the others that were on there. I mainly remember Kitty Carlisle because somebody snuffed her out. To tell the truth, okay. Yeah, Kitty Carlisle had some dirt on the JFK assassination. And one day, somebody gave her a dirt nap. And to this day, they haven't solved that murder. I read the whole story of her life, and she was a hell of an investigated reporter. Oh yeah, Dorothy Kilgallen. Yeah, that's another one that was on there. But Kitty Carlisle had some dirt on the JFK assassination. And it was interesting because when she got the permanent dirt nap, that file disappeared from her apartment. Because her housekeeper knew where it was. Because she told her housekeeper, if something ever happens to me, hide this file. Well, unfortunately, whoever gave her the dirt nap rifled through her private office. Oh, do I have them confused? I knew it was one of them. Yeah, Kilgallen lives. Yeah, that's right. Hey, I never said I was 100% right. That's why I rely on you guys to straighten me out. They figure the CIA or the FBI, somebody snuffed her. Because the murder investigation got stifled real quick. And to this day, they haven't solved it. You would think with the Freedom of Information Act, by now we could get the unredacted copies. I'll have to file a FOIA. Who killed Dorothy Kilgallen? I'll probably get 560 pages of all black marker. I'll ask for the unredacted copy, thank you. Who the hell was the host of You Bet Your Life? I remember that one. Yeah, I used to like What's My Line when they had the mystery guest and everybody had to put their blindfolds on. Will the mystery guest sign in, please? I'll never forget when the mystery guest was Liberace. And he talked like a little girl. Are you a famous person? No. Nobody guessed him. Groucho! Say the magic word, and a duck would come down with a... Today's magic word is aardvark. Yeah, Groucho always had a cigar about this long. Got some of the stars back in the day. Oh, God. Oh. I can't think of his name. The Schnoz. The hell was it? They called him the Schnoz because he had a big nose. The vaudevillian. He was like 70 years old and married like a 24-year-old. See, that's why I have you guys here, Jimmy Durante. I couldn't think of that name. He'd be playing the piano going, I got 1,000,000 of them. Although he played good old honky-tonk piano like my mother's mother used to. Boy, my grandmother could make a piano rock. Matter of fact, she had one. She had an old upright. As a matter of fact, she bought it out of a bar. Man, could that woman play honky-tonk piano. God damn. She was even pretty decent when she had Parkinson's. She couldn't hammer that piano like she used to, but she could still play. Yeah, that goddamn piano had watermarks all over it from the beer mugs. I'll never forget my grandfather was going to surprise her and have it refinished, and she was like, no! Yeah, she bought it out of some old honky-tonk bar. Somewhere downtown Cleveland. I can't remember the name of the bar. They bought a new piano and they were going to scrap the old one, and she was like, oh, I'll take it. Mainly because a couple nights a week she'd fill in for the piano player. Work for tips. And she'd stand up when she played. because she could hammer the piano. Oh man, she beat the shit out of the piano when she played it. She was a female Liberace, but only honky tonk. If you asked her to play a sonata in G major, she'd be like, "What?" Every time I'd go over to her house, "Grandma, play the piano." My grandfather would be like, "Oh, please." She'd walk over and flip that sucker open and start beating on it. But I'll tell you what, up until her Parkinson's really got advanced, she could still hammer that son of a bitch. Although, unfortunately, she had to sit down, which that broke her heart because that's the only way she could play piano was standing up. My grandfather said she'd be playing that piano in that bar from like 6 until closing, 3 nights a week, standing, never sat down. Well, she'd sit down and take a break. Because it was a riot. She got the piano home, and my grandfather, "Where's the bench?" "I left it at the bar. I don't need no bench." He went to the bar and got it, brought it home. She threw it out. Would never sit down at the piano and play. She'd start playing. I could see the neighbors going, "Oh, jeez." I used to love because she'd cross hands. She'd be playing and then she'd cross hands. And although she'd been playing piano from like when she was 6 or 7 years old, but that woman could beat a piano to death. They didn't let her near any Steinway grand pianos, believe me. Christ, that piano had to be 100 years old when she got it. Christ, it took like 8 guys to get it in the house. Sat in the dining room. And it was, the finish was ruined on it from all the beer that got spilled on it. And my grandfather was like, her name was Lillian. "Lil, I'm going to have your piano restored, refinished." Don't touch it. No. He said, "Jesus Christ, there's 700 watermarks from beer mugs." It gave it personality. That's what she said. It gives it personality. A little too much of my life going on here. I'll say one thing. I had interesting grandparents on both sides. Because my grandfather was a Cleveland mounted cop. He rode a horse. Used to direct traffic at West 9th and Superior. Was it Superior? Yeah. West 9th and Superior. Because it was the Detroit Superior Bridge, and he directed traffic right at the foot of the bridge, West 9th and Superior. That was his corner. And man, did he make a haul at Christmas time. Because when he'd get done directing traffic, he'd walk the beat. There were never any criminals around his area. He was quick with a nightstick. When they could carry them. He'd be walking along spinning that fucking nightstick. He could twirl a nightstick like a drum major. I'll have to ask my sister. My mother had his badge. I'll have to ask her if she's got his badge. See if I can talk her out of it. She ain't gonna do nothing with it. I know my mother had it. So it's got it. Although I want her to find the scrapbooks first. I told her that's your mission. Find them scrapbooks. Do you have the laundry all put away now, Kathy? Because you said you had it all folded. Is it all put away now? Nice and neat? God, I remember laundry day with my grandmother's. She would have my grandfather wheel the mangle out of the back room, and then she would iron everything. Towels, sheets, pillowcases, underwear, you name it, she ironed it. Kids today don't even know what a mangle is. I always tell them gargle it. But yeah, she'd do laundry and sit there and iron. I think she even ironed socks. And then everything was nice and neat. You ironed? Really? Boy, that's a lost art. I'll never forget one of my son's friends come over one day and, what's that thing in the corner? It's an ironing board. What do you do with it? Every now and then I iron. How? Next time I'm ironing, I'll call you. Do your grandkids look at that ironing board and go, how do you play on that, Grandma? God, do they still sell them? Can you actually still buy an ironing board at Target? I know it's almost impossible to find sewing machines. Now I know they sell irons because Marianne has a cordless. I didn't know they made rechargeable irons. Her son bought it for Mother's Day. A cordless iron. I never heard of such a thing. It has a charging, then when she wants to iron, you switch it on. I didn't know the cord it was that name. I don't have any problem with the cord on mine. And yes, I do have an iron and an ironing board. I learned how to iron. It's amazing when you're divorced 4 times, the things you learn. Oh my God, you got an antique? Really? I got a more modern one. Mine's metal. Pain in the ass. Usually what I do, I bring out a couple of thick towels and lay them on the kitchen table. Because most of the time I'm just ironing like a shirt. Gee, Kathy, when you stop using that, that'll be museum material. I haven't seen a wood ironing board since Christ when I was a young kid. Oh, now that's an old iron. Believe it or not, my grandmother had a goddamn iron. You'd set it on the stove. It wasn't electric. She'd put it on the fucking burner. I wish I had that thing. That was a real antique. Yeah, she had to touch something up. She wouldn't bring the mangle out. She'd bring the iron out and put it on the burner. Get the iron nice and hot. I think it was her great-grandmother's. I should have snatched that sucker when I had the chance. It would have made a good doorstop. But at least I got her cast iron pan, which was her great-grandmother's. I don't use it. I keep it conditioned, but I don't use it. Mainly because the bastards are too hard to clean. But it's in my oven. the 1800s cast iron skillet that doesn't have any writing on it nowhere. All it has on the bottom of it is an X and an O. But it's real cast iron. I snatched that sucker, and my mother was looking for it. What happened to that cast iron skillet? I don't know, ask Grandma. My grandmother was like, it was in the oven. Well, it's not there now. Where is it? Believe me, that sucker was hidden away. And then basically when I knew it was safe, I brought it out. But I've never cooked in it. But I could. I mean, like right now, if I wanted to like fry some chicken, I could because I keep it conditioned. But I don't cook in it. Mainly because if I screwed it up, my grandmother'd come down and beat the shit out of me. Oh, she was a fanatic about that thing. If anything stuck, she had a little wire brush, and she always had a little container of rock salt. And she'd pour the rock salt in, and she'd brush that pan. And then when she got it clean, she had no... she kept a rag with salad oil. Or no, olive oil. And she would give it a night after she cleaned it. Then she would very lightly with olive oil and then put wax paper in it and then put it in the oven. She spent more time washing that cast iron skillet. That's why I'm afraid to cook in it, for fear I screw it up. That's what everybody tells me. I should take and make cornbread in it. Matter of fact, everybody tells me that's the only way to really make cornbread. You don't put it in a regular baking pan. You're supposed to make cornbread in a cast iron skillet. Real cornbread. Not Jiffy Mix. Because basically, anytime you see a real cornbread recipe, you see a cast iron skillet. But I cheat. I use Jiffy Mix in a metal pan. Tomorrow, I have 4 of my hot Slovenian links left. Tomorrow out comes the caraway seed sauerkraut. I'm going to do my hot Slovenian sausage links in the caraway seed sauerkraut. But you know what's interesting, Kathy? On the can, it says sweet. And that kind of bothers me a bit. No, Ron, I keep forgetting to... Every time I go to the store, I forget all about it. After I made it that first time, I haven't made it since. Because it was funny when I grabbed the 2 cans. The assistant manager happened to be walking by, and he goes, "Ah, you better be buying that. That we got that in and had to make room for it." I said, "Well, you told me I wasn't the only one that wanted it, so don't give me a hard time." Matter of fact, it shocked the hell out of me because it wasn't there the last time I bought sauerkraut. And I reached for the authentic Bavarian, and I was like, holy shit. Sauerkraut with caraway seeds. Well, I'll put the authentic Bavarian back and I'll take 2 of these. A good thing I saved a jar, because I won't use 2 full cans. That way I could put it in the jar and put it in the fridge. But that's tomorrow's, because I saved the sauerkraut juice that was left in the crock pot. So in will go a layer of sauerkraut, in will go the sausages, and then another layer of sauerkraut. Crock pot on high for 4 hours. Are we talking like steakums? Because if you can afford real steak, I'm coming over for dinner. I have a buddy that does that. He buys real steak, and he slices it in thin strips. And then he puts the thin strips in the food processor and just gives it a couple of brut, and then pours it in the pan. Because he said steakums are not real steak. Did you hit the lotto that you were able to buy a ribeye? God, the price of steak nowadays, Jesus. Oh, you want to hear something unbelievable? A couple weeks ago, no, about a month ago. My buddy, his son lives out in Texas, somewhere, Texas. And he had what's called a tomahawk steak. I never heard of a tomahawk steak. I guess they're huge. And they have kind of a bone, looks like a tomahawk. So he was complaining. He couldn't find tomahawk steaks. So just joking, I said, every now and then when I'm watching YouTube, I see an ad for this place out in Texas called Five Mary's Ranch. And it's basically Five Marys because her 4 daughters are named Mary along with her. And I said, towards the end of the commercial, she's packing a tomahawk steak in a box. So he goes online and he finds Five Marys. And he ordered some tomahawk steaks. 4. $90 a steak. $90 a steak. I told him, when you get these steaks, I want to see what a $90 steak looks like. 4 steaks. $400. Because he had to pay for shipping. $90 a steak. I didn't know he was insane. He must be. I bitch because the porterhouse is $25 at my meat market. $90 a steak. For $90, they better look like a side of beef. I never heard of a tomahawk steak. Matter of fact, I'm going to have to go on Five Marys and see what a tomahawk steak looks like now. Christ, one steak would shoot 2 weeks worth of my shopping money. Well, I hope when he makes the steaks, he invites me over so I can taste one. Because I'm not buying one. I made a joke out of it. I said, oh, there's 5 Marys. And then he ordered his wife beef tallow. I said, what is beef tallow? It's moisturizing cream. I guess 5 Marys don't let nothing of a cow go to waste. Well, if I gotta bake a steak before I barbecue it, believe me, no thank you. What is it, about that thick? It better be for $90. Of course, he was telling me, oh, they're all natural, grass-fed, no chemicals, nothing. That's all right. I'll take my chemically preserved steaks from Save-A-Lot then. Matter of fact, I haven't got any lately because I keep forgetting to go up at 5 o'clock when the meat manager marks everything down. God, the one day I made a haul and pissed the woman off behind me. Because as soon as he marked down a T-bone, I was, I'll take it. Okay, there we go. Oh, what do you got? New York strip? Okay, I'll take them. I don't get that much Social Security money to order a $90 steak. I wait until the meat manager at Save-A-Lot marks them down 50, 60%. Thank you. The woman behind me, the one that, you gonna take them all? Well, maybe. Yeah, he marked down T-bones, New York strips. I can't remember what the other ones were. Oh, flank steak. I didn't want that. I told the woman, here, you can have that. He marked everything down except the damn porterhouse. My favorite steak. We don't have Safeway or Smith's here. We don't have Myers. We don't have Kroger's. All we have is Gigantic Eaglet. Because they ran everybody else out of town. God, we used to have Kroger's, Fisher Foods, Tops, Pick and Pay. Not no more. As a matter of fact, at my Gigantic Eagle up the street, they did away with the fresh meat counter. If I want to go get a steak cut or I want something, I have to go to the big fucking monster megathon Gigantic Eaglet over on 117th, and I hate that store. It's It's like walking into a giant warehouse. By the time I get halfway through the store, I have to take a nap. This store has 60-foot aisles. And whoever laid it out, I can't find shit in that store. I told the manager, you need to have road maps at the door. Ketchup is what? Aisle 47, row 13. Okay. Then you get over in the ketchup aisle and there's 400 varieties of ketchup. Do we really need that many varieties of ketchup? Christ, the one day I went over in the hot sauce aisle, there must have been 600 different hot sauces. I go, where's my Cholula? Although I can find my Cholula because it has wooden caps. Little round wooden caps. And then, yeah, regular Cholula, Chipotle Cholula, jalapeno Cholula, lime Cholula. I'm like, oh, that is... Nobody can have just one variety anymore. You have to have 47. Yeah, smoked jalapeno. I'm like, oh, that's the only hot sauce I eat. Cholula. As a matter of fact, 5 top-rated chefs recommend Cholula as one of the best. Even Bobby Flay likes Cholula. And I can't stand Bobby Flay. Or Guy Fricassee. What an idiot. I'd like to take and grab him and shave his head. Frickin' bleaches his hair. What an idiot. Although, I saw the other day, Michael Simon is doing a cooking show on the Food Network. They had it was called Chopped. Well, they're bringing it back, and they're calling it Chopped Up. And Michael Simon, Iron Chef, and some goofy woman, and I can't remember who the third guy is. So I might give it a watch. Because Michael Simon, right after he was crowned Iron Chef, opened 3 restaurants in Cleveland. I can't afford to go in any of them, but I don't know if he's cooking anymore. Haven't heard of him in fucking 30 years. The Galloping Gourmet. I liked what's his name? The one that offed himself. What the hell was his name? Right in the middle of a TV series on top of it. Can't think of his name. Yeah, they were in the middle of filming the TV series, and he gave himself a dirt nap. Yeah, Anthony. I liked him because if he was traveling somewhere, be sampling food and getting stinking drunk, man, that guy could put away the alcohol. Holy shit. And I mean, he could put away the alcohol. Although, I would put away the alcohol too if I ate some of the shit that he did. Like 100-year-old hard-boiled eggs. They were like black. A Japanese delicacy. And frickin' soft-boiled egg with the chicken in it. Goddamn, open the shell and there was a goddamn chicken embryo in the... Some of the shit that he ate. God, the one day he was eating frickin' octopus legs and they were still moving. They went to some Korean food market and the delicacy is baby octopus legs dipped in hot sauce. And the guy pulled the octopus out and went whack, 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 whack. Put them on a plate and they were... He dipping them in hot sauce. Food that sticks to your ribs. Literally. Yeah, I couldn't believe it. He went to Korea with his secretary because his secretary was Korean and she wanted to visit her parents. And they went through this Korean fish market. And she goes, "Oh, octopus." The guy takes the octopus out, puts it on the quack, 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 quack. Puts a little platter up with a bowl of hot sauce. She says to him, "You have to swallow fast." Be my luck, I'd get one, be halfway down my asparagus, and it'd start to crawl back out. Stick my tongue out and, you need some more hot sauce. I thought the Japanese ate weird shit. Oh, the Koreans are worse. Nothing like eating fish fillets while the fish is still flopping around on the plate. Yeah, I could see why he was hitting the sake. Because while he was doing Japan, there were a bunch of young college kids that were following him around. They went into a bar, and it was a bar that had a little grill. And they're drinking away, and Bourdain goes, "What's that?" "Fried chicken skin." "Really? I'll have a couple." "Fried chicken skin? No, thank you." "Is there any chicken attached to it?" "Oh, no. Just the skin. It's a delicacy." "I'll pass. Thank you." "How about some wings?" "No. No wings? Just chicken skin on a stick?" "Check, please." Uh-oh. Well, we're going to try to get some music. I'm down to 13% battery. Let's see if I can get it to play. It's that time, people. Well, I have 13% battery. We know where, right here. With the grumpy jackalope. All right, everybody. Thanks for being here. Have a wonderful rest of your evening. And we will meet again right here tomorrow night. Take care. See ya.